Hi, and welcome to the Santiago High School Counselor's presentation on Stress Management 101. Now, more than ever, we need to learn how to handle our stress. My name is Sandy Sullivan, and I'm the Intervention Counselor. Before we get started on our presentation, I just want to remind everyone that some stress in our lives is good, and we need to use it to our advantage.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Cisco. I'm filling in for Miss Nunes.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Johnny Campos. My alpha is CHB through CLE. I do AVID A through K, and I do all EL students.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Berg, and I have the alpha of COA to GL.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nathan Tooney, and I have the alpha GN through KOR.
Good afternoon. My name is Maritza Partida, and I have the alpha of KOS to MAS, as well as AVID L through Z.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlos Estrada, and my alpha is MAT to PINI.
Good afternoon. I'm Kristen Matsumoto, and my alpha is PINO to SOL.
Good afternoon. I'm Valencia Applegate. My alpha is SOM through Z.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sandy Sullivan. I'm the Intervention Counselor. So my role is to support all the counselors and teachers and admin and students.
I'm Mrs. Partida here from Santiago High School, one of your counselors. So today in our presentation, we're going to start with a calm exercise. This will help you guys learn how to relax, to teach yourself a quick calming technique, and to help you focus. So let's get started. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Kind of gives you a minute of preparing your mind to handle whatever is coming next in your life. So by the end of today's lesson, you guys will be able to define what stress looks like, be able to recognize at least one trigger that causes you stress in your life, and then be able to identify at least 2 coping strategies to manage your stress. One awesome coping strategy is just learning how to take deep breaths in, just as we learned in the prior slide.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Tooney, and I'm a counselor at Santiago High School, and I'm going to take a moment to talk to you about stress. And if I said, what is stress? You would probably respond with, this is exactly what I've been feeling. It's the feeling that I've had since March 15th of last year, Mr. Tooney. I've had stress in my life since then. And I couldn't argue with that. That would be something that I've been feeling, that parents have been feeling, teachers, students, you name it. Everybody has had stress in their life. But some people know what it is without understanding how you define it. And so stress is the body's reaction to any change in an environment or an adjustment to a response. So for athletes, it's right before the game begins. You feel that stress, that burst of adrenaline. It happens at any time where something is about to happen to you and you have to have a quick response to it. And your body can react in 3 different ways. You can react in a physical way, a mental way, and an emotional way. The physical way is where you feel your muscles tense up. The mental way is where you are frightened and you can only focus on one thing. There's only a very narrow focus. And the emotional response is sometimes one of tension, of being on edge, of reacting very quickly to something. That's part of stress. And stress isn't generally a normal part of life. You'll have stress go up and down in your life from days, weeks, years, and you'll just go through it. So that's what stress is. What can you do about it? what we've done is we've got a short video that shows you how to handle that stress, how to actually process it a little bit. And that's what we'd like to show you right now.
Watch this. One little piece of paper can have a remarkable effect. Stress is stressful. But if you understand a bit about what it is, you'll be better able to deal with it. First, though, take a few deep breaths. In fact, do that anytime you feel stressed. It helps. Stress is a survival mechanism. When danger appears, it can get you out of trouble quickly. Your body crashes up the gears and throws all its resources into getting you moving. Your heart pumps furiously to increase blood pressure. Glucose is sent to the muscles as a fuel injection, and you become totally focused on what psychologists call fight or flight. Thing is, this emergency state is only meant to last just long enough to get you out of danger. But here in the 21st century, we stress about different things, and for much, much longer. Your brain and body stay on red alert, and you'll be less able to think clearly, learn, or remember things. Take a few more deep breaths, because as you now know, stress is a physical reaction, and deep breathing helps to counteract its effects. So, what else can you do? Okay, top tips to reduce stress. First, get plenty of exercise. Let out all that locked up energy. Now, back to the problem. Get in control. Scope out the situation and how you're going to tackle it. Don't stress alone. Talk to someone. Socialize and have a laugh. You can't laugh and quake with fear at the same time. Get down with nature on a big or small scale.
Defining stress. So what exactly is it? Well, it's the emotional strain resulting from uncontrollable circumstances. Your body's reaction to these changes may include physical, mental, emotional, or behavioral responses. Stress can be recognized by others with your responses. Stress is absolutely a normal part of life, and stress requires an adjustment, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this next video. And how do we make an adjustment, and what kind of conversations do we have in looking at and dealing with stress? In this video, it's going to talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. I know we hear a lot of talk about being stressed or being anxious about things. So we're going to look at how to work through daily stress, and that we can see we actually build skills that help us to be resilient and be prepared for bigger stressors that may happen in our life. The video is also going to address changing the conversations about stress. Stress doesn't always have to be negative. It can be actually positive. It's how you interpret the actual stressor that can either motivate you and see it as perhaps a challenge, and that it's not always negative to have stressors in your life. For example, if you're an athlete, let's just take a softball player or a baseball player, being up with 2 outs and bases are loaded. For some people, that's absolutely a stressor, and the way you view it is, hey, this is a challenge. I'm going to get a hit, and that motivates you to be focused and do what you need to do. So again, stress can be healthy and positive, and so we'll go ahead and look at this video and get the conversation going.
How often do you hear people say, I'm so stressed out right now? Or, that makes me so anxious? How many times have you said it yourself? We often confuse stress with anxiety, and this confusion has led many of us to become afraid of one of the most natural and important states of our physical and mental health, our stress response. It seems to make sense that if stress is such a big part of our lives, we ought to take some time to think about what stress actually is and how we can manage it. It turns out that even how we think about the stress response has a big impact on how it affects us. Unfortunately, stress has developed a bit of a bad rap recently. And while there are certain types of stress that are not good for us, most of it is actually helpful. In fact, working through daily stressors is precisely how we build skills and resilience. It's time to start changing the conversation about stress. So let's say we have a big challenge in our environment, which is called a stressor. It could be an exam, a big assignment, or really most problems that we face. We start to feel the physical symptoms. They might be a racing heart, rapid breathing, body tension, or not sleeping. We're confronted by the challenge, and if we make it through, the stress response subsides or gradually goes away. Here's a map of a normal stress response. It may come on more quickly or gradually, but that's the general idea. The stress response is normal. It's actually our body's best effort to get us ready to face the challenges that come our way. Without some level of stress, we don't perform well. Same thing goes if we have too much. Now let's go back to when we first experienced the stress response. This is when we're at an important point where we can choose how we interpret those physical sensations. Let's call them path A and path B. On path A, we can think, I'm so stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. Here we go again. I can't handle this, or I'm not going to go. Or on path B, we can think, my body's telling me I have something to face. This could be tough, but I'll find a way to get through it. My body's helping me to get ready to face this. These are two very different interpretations, and it turns out your interpretation of the stressor is what really matters. If we avoid situations or things that cause the stress response, it may make us feel better in the short term, but when we encounter the challenge again in the future, it actually makes the stress response even worse. On the other hand, if you think through what's causing your stress response in the first place, what strategies or problem solving you can use to face the challenge head on, it will reduce the intensity of the stress response. This is how we adapt and learn new skills to use the next time. Although the path B way of thinking may not come as naturally, and facing stressors takes courage, the more you practice this approach, the easier it will become. While the physical sensations of the stress response and anxiety are similar, the outcome is very different. The hallmarks of an anxiety disorder are persistent avoidance and withdrawal, where it causes major impairment in your life. That's more than just a stress response. So, putting this all together, let's start by labeling stress for what it is. Stress response. It's normal. It's a motivator. It isn't anxiety or depression. It's just stress. Next, check your thinking and try to interpret stress as helpful. I'm going to build some new skills. My brain is ramping up to help me get through this. Then, ask yourself, how am I going to step up to the problem causing me stress? What strategies do I have, and who can I ask for help? And finally, you may choose a helpful stress management technique, such as box breathing, mindfulness, physical exercise, or something else. But remember, calming strategies ultimately provide temporary relief until you're able to face the stressor. So the more we understand our stress response, the easier it becomes to manage. For more information about stress and anxiety, check us out at teenmentalhealth.org.
Science has shown that there is a strong mind and body connection to stress. Stress can affect brain functions like your mood and your anxiety. Stress promotes inflammation, which can affect heart health. When experiencing long-term stress, your brain is exposed to increased levels of a hormone called cortisol, which triggers the fight or flight response. This makes your heart beat fast, it pounds, and your body tightens up. This exposure weakens your immune system, making it easier for you to get sick. Managing stress levels is vital for your well-being, your brain, and your mental health. Stress can make things like being overwhelmed, processing information, and remembering things worse. Studies in both animals and people show clearly that stress can affect how the brain functions. Scientists have seen changes in how the brain processes information when people experience either real-life stress or stress manufactured in a research setting. Either type of stress seems to interfere with cognition, attention, and memory. When one feels overwhelmed, it is easy to lose focus on the task at hand. Your breathing pattern may change. Your body may tighten up, Your diet may change too, preferring comfort foods or sweets, or even losing your appetite. You may feel your heart beating in your chest. If you experience difficulty concentrating, you may be trying to remain focused on the task, but your brain takes you back to your stressor, or your mind goes blank. If you experience racing thoughts, your brain has you move quickly from one thought to another without the ability to remain focused on the task at hand. Have you ever experienced body tension due to stress? Your stress can actually give you a headache or a shoulder or a backache. This is the physical expression of your mind's thoughts. Have you ever had trouble sleeping? You try, but you can't seem to relax your mind. It is still focusing on your stressor. What types of daily stresses or challenges have you faced? Keeping up with all of your homework, keeping your new work environment organized, or preparing for upcoming tests? What about virtual learning? While some students thrive in this environment, other students find it quite challenging. This type of learning, and it's something new for your brain to be able to adjust to. What about your family? Are you challenged with being able to help out or contribute to your family's well-being? Do you support family members, and do you feel supported in return? Do you ever think about how your life will be different after high school? This can be a stressor because you need to come up with a plan for your future. Social stressors. It may be more difficult connecting with your friends now. You are less likely to feel depressed if you keep up your social connections. Studies have shown that giving support is just as health promoting as receiving it. Are you driven and focused on your goals? Do you set high expectations for yourself? This is an example of internal pressures. If you fear not meeting the goals that you've set for yourself. And what about the fear of the unknown? We tend to avoid that which makes us uncomfortable, but that really helps us. If we don't face our fears, it restricts our life, and you never extinguish what is making you afraid. Knowledge is power. Our day-to-day lives become stressful as we are always multitasking. Stress triggers a physiological change in our bodies. How you think, feel, and act affects your mind as well as your body.
Another way to help us deal with stress is to change our mindset. So here's a few examples that if we flip it to a more positive way of thinking about things, it's very helpful. So instead of, I don't know what I'm doing, think about, I'm going to learn a new skill. Instead of, I'm overwhelmed and don't know where to start, think, let me take it one step, one day at a time. Instead of thinking, not being able to play my sports is unbearable, start by thinking, the season is starting later than usual, so I have time to work out and become stronger. Instead of thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do next year, start out by, let me start thinking of what I enjoy doing and look for career paths that match my interests.
Coping skills can help. Become a relaxation expert. Journal, draw, meditate, deep breathing. Get enough sleep, nourishment, and exercise. If you can sleep between 7 and 8 hours a night, you're going to be ready for the next day. If you can go for a walk, you can go for a run or a bike ride in the afternoon. That's a good way of taking care of your health. Connect with others. Talk to others. Pay attention to the good things. Take a social media break. Sometimes we have to leave the phone alone for a day or two just to kind of reconnect with ourselves. Practice positive self-talk. For an example, you got this. Let's go. You're awesome. Communicate with your teacher or your school counselors. If you need us to reach out, send us an email, and we'll be happy to get in contact with you.
Hello, Sharks. It's Mr. Estrada. I want to give you a tour of the CNUSD Virtual Calming Room. So this website is a place for students and families to find tools and strategies for managing emotions and feelings. On this website, we have many resources for students to deal with stress and anxiety, such as sounds and music. As you can see down here, we have waterfall, campfire, ocean wave sounds. There's guided meditations, and these are also available in Spanish. Okay. We also have relaxation videos. There's mindfulness resources, live animal cameras. There's virtual tours of famous places, famous museums. There's puzzles and games, such as my favorite, Sudoku. And there's much more. There's also coloring and creativity resources, exercises, yoga, healthy cooking, smartphone apps, hotlines, and text lines. Also, your school counselors want to let you know that your feelings are valid no matter what they are. You might feel scared, confused, overwhelmed, angry, alone, grateful, or completely calm. And these are normal feelings. Don't forget that your counselors, we are here for you.
In summary, remember stress is normal. How we handle our stress can impact our mental and our physical health. So practice the coping skills that you've learned in this presentation.
Hi everyone, I'm Miss Cisco and I'd like to introduce the next slide to you. The video you're going to watch is all about the teen experience during quarantine. Sit back and relax, as you might have some things in common with the people in this video. The main thing to remember is you are not alone and we are in this together.
Favorite things about quarantine. Everybody's here. I have a lot of free time. My least favorite things about quarantine. Everybody's always here. I have too much free time.
Not having to actually go to school.
I'm so happy I don't have to get up as early anymore.
Quarantine has also given me much more time to watch Netflix.
We have a lot more meals together, which is really nice. Staying inside can get kind of sad.
Feeling trapped and not getting fresh air.
I really like to go outside and play a lot of sports with my friends, and obviously we can't do that, and all the organized sports that I'm in have been canceled.
I tried to go to the park with one of my friends, and my mom came and yelled, 10 feet, stay 10 feet away, before making me come home because we were only 8 feet away.
One of the hardest parts about being in quarantine is just not being able to go outside and play basketball. And another one in the house is sharing a room with my sister. It's very, very tough.
When the only people you can talk to are your family, it gets really bad really quickly.
I feel cramped up. I don't really like this that much. If I could do one thing on the outside right now, I would go get Chipotle.
And I'm really starting to miss seeing everyone.
If I could do one thing on the outside right now, it would definitely be see my friends.
What scares you the most right now? The prospect that we'll be doing this for another 18 months.
I'm scared that things won't go back to normal.
And if we're inside all summer in quarantine, I might go stir crazy if I haven't already.
Right now I feel kind of stressed out, but it is really nice to know that we're all going through this together.
I just really want quarantine to end because this freaking pandemic is killing me.
Remember, sharks, we are stronger together.
Thank you again for watching our presentation. Just wanted to point out that we would love for you to look at more information on our counseling website, and also please follow us on our social media. So that's on Instagram and Twitter @counseling SHS_. Thanks again.